welcome to QI, where tonight we're cavorting with the K-folk. Please welcome the kind-hearted Katherine Ryan. The keen-eyed Josh Widdicombe. The king-sized Phill Jupitus. And kiss my keister if it isn't Alan Davis. And tonight their buzzers have a story to tell. Katherine goes. Josh goes. Phill goes. And Alan goes. I hope you were sitting the right side of the branch, Alan. So, we start in the Kalahari. So tell me, how did the meerkat cross the road?
Carefully. That's not a life-size one, is it?
That's not... Well, it is a life-size one.
Really, I'd say it was in the foreground, except there's a bit of road before it.
Yes, it's confusing,
It's
isn't
just
it?
a very tiny car.
It's a dinky car.
Do they cross in a group? Like, you know, when you see those kids in the reflective jackets?
Yes.
Snaking across the road with some sort of handler. I think that's what children have.
Well, meerkats are, despite their cutesy reputation, they're pretty mean, fierce animals. And they have levels of superiority. And the leading meerkat sends across the less important meerkat to test the road. And it's the youngsters...
That'll be you tonight,
Do you want me to
Josh.
test it tonight?
It's your
children.
first time, you have to cross the set.
Unbelievably, it's the children they send.
The children?
They send their little...
Once again, that'll be me tonight.
Well, we do the same. We do the same with buggies, right? You push that straight out into the road before you.
So what are they testing? That it's not going to get hit by a car?
Yeah, exactly, basically, that it's safe. And if the youngsters get gobbled, they go, oh, I'm not doing that.
Do they not understand that there might be another car in a minute?
It seems odd, but...
Well, that one's been killed by a car, so we'll all be fine.
Are the tiny meerkats wearing high-vis jackets like human children do, or do they just rely on their own gorgeousness?
I think they rely on their own gorgeousness. But they're leading the sort of head, not exactly... you see, you're going,
I don't fancy that one at the bottom's chances, if that's all right.
He knows he's
You know
about
what's
to be
coming.
sent.
That one behind him's just about to do that.
You have alpha females with meerkats, and in fact, they kill each other's children. What? Yes, they're pretty nasty animals when it comes to it, I'm afraid. They're not very nice at all. They're child murderers, to be perfectly honest.
Here are 3 young meerkats crossing the...
2 have spotted the vehicle.
The youngest one.
Barry did not.
Unfortunately, because of the adverts, a lot of people have bought them as pets, and they very soon abandon them because they're smelly, they're aggressive, and they attack people they don't know.
But you know what? These
People are like
people have never died crossing a road, have they?
No, they haven't, exactly.
And the meerkat always worried that someone's about to kick them in the knackers.
They do have that look too.
Looks like someone's about to take a free kick, doesn't it?
It does.
The only thing that could make that picture even more gorgeous would be 3 tiny pianos.
Meerkats know each other by their calls individually, and you can send a meerkat almost insane by recording one meerkat's voice that it knows, playing it in a certain area, and then whizzing round to another area and playing it again. And
Why would you do that, such a thing?
It's very mean, but they get utterly baffled by the fact...
Barry!
How can you be in 2 places at once? There is no meerkat called Barry, by the way, but it's an...
No. You could do that with a human voice, because we recognise everyone through their voices
True,
as well,
but we
don't
also know about recordings. So that's probably
It's a trick
yes.
miss.
Maybe you
There
don't.
was a time when only one person knew about recording. Oh, he had great fun.
Well, there you go. The meerkat road safety code is to send the kids across first. Now, Alan, why will you never eat my noodles?
It was bound to happen that this show would just become about you two.
Just haven't agreed on a fee, have we?
Remember, we're involving people from countries beginning with K.
Kenya.
Well, which have a particular association, perhaps, with noodles.
Kent.
Kent. Famous for the Kentish pasta. No, go east.
Korea.
Thank you, Josh. In Korea, noodles, of course, are very popular.
Of course.
And when will I eat your noodles means when are you getting married? In other words, when are you going to be throwing a party in which you will serve noodles? So it's just a Korean phrase. It's like saying, when are you going to tie the knot? When am I going to eat your noodles? Well, you're already married, so I'm not going to eat your noodles, and you didn't invite me.
I did invite you.
Oh, you did?
Come.
No, I did. That's right. I was abroad.
Yeah, you know what you were doing? You were filming an episode of Bone.
Yes, I was.
I've never been so insulted in my life.
I'm so sorry. I'm so... Oh, God, how embarrassing. I'm so sorry. Anyway, that's what it means. Here are some other Korean phrases, though. The other man's rice cake always looks bigger. What would be the British equivalent of that?
Oh, the grass is always greener.
Or as my uncle used to say, the other man's arse is always cleaner. If there are too many ferrymen on a boat, it will sail up a mountain.
Is that just literal?
Probably, but maybe.
If they say that in North Korea, the boat is going up the
That's
mountain.
true. There is a
Too many cooks spoil the broth.
Too many cooks spoil the broth.
So, Stephen, tell me about your childhood.
OK, here's one. Pummeling a dead monk.
That's in the business.
You'd think.
Yeah, but if you've got erectile dysfunction, you're pummeling the dead monk.
Is it flogging the dead? Oh.
It's flogging a dead horse. It's criticising an enemy who's already defeated. It's a useless exercise, in other words, yes. So, he worked as if he were tending the grave of his wife's uncle.
That's brilliant.
What would that mean?
I might start using that.
Not much.
Yes is the answer,
He did
because in
butter
Korea, it is your duty to tend the graves of your family. But the more distant the family, the less attention you give the grave. So all he was doing was just basically sprinkling a little bit of water on the... It's only his wife's uncle. Whereas his grandfather, his father, or his mother, he'd be putting flowers and being with great attention. So that's
So
what
like
that means.
shagging the dog.
Not really. Not really, Catherine. Is there something you want to share with us? Like shagging the dog?
Yeah, like if you don't work very hard, you're just shagging the dog.
Not in this country, madam. In this country, when we shag a dog, we know what we're doing. And it's pretty hard work, let me tell you.
Not as easy as it looks, I tell you that.
So in Canada, you have the phrase shagging the dog.
Yeah. Or like shagging the sheep if you want. Or whatever.
That's not fun.
Again, perfectly common practice over here, but not considered a light or unburdensome task.
It just means like having an easy day.
There's a lot I have to learn about Canada.
It's easy because with like a lady, you have to take her out to dinner or woo her a bit. But with the dog, it's just like, here, boy, come on.
You say that.
I
You
don't
say
know.
that.
I'd say once he's here, most of the work is still to be done in that situation.
Yes. You're thinking, let's move on. So, you wouldn't notice even if a friend at the same table died. What can that mean?
The food was delicious.
Absolutely spot on. Well done. The food was so damn good that even if a friend died at the table, you wouldn't notice because you were just constant. That's brilliant. Well done.
That's pretty classy.
That is classy, isn't it? I
Someone
like that.
dies at the table going, should I see the dessert menu?
How good it was. My eyebrows are on fire.
I can hardly believe what I've seen.
No? It is on
Help me,
fire.
I'm burning.
That is,
I'm in a really desperate situation. Yeah, I'm in a desperate situation. Showing off your wrinkles to a silkworm?
You have found a silkworm in your underpants.
Silkworms are pretty wrinkly. So if you show your wrinkles to a silkworm, he's going to go, nah, I can do better than that. So it's like teaching your grandmother to suck eggs.
Oh,
that's what it is.
imagine how wrinkly a silkworm's knackers are.
Exactly. And finally, he disappeared like a fart through hemp pyjamas.
I think that one speaks for itself, doesn't it?
It's a Korean phrase. Awkwardly, basically. Embarrassingly, awkwardly, not with maximum grace. Now, who are these men and what did they have for breakfast?
The guy there, front left,
Yes.
he looks like he's having a Calippo for breakfast.
He does.
Very early Filippo commercial.
Very early Calippo commercial, absolutely right.
The next
Oh, they got
phrase
the
will-
lifestyle element of the Calippo commercial all wrong.
Calippo's have changed.
One of those...
Bizarrely, when first made, they were for poor mining workers.
Well, this is a poor village.
Is that the Dales? Is it Yorkshire?
It's not.
Is it the north?
It's remoter. It's British, but remote.
Is it Devon?
Hebrides.
The Hebrides is right, and it's the remotest of all of them,
Okay,
and the largest.
Seaweed? Do they eat seaweed?
They don't. They lived for 1,000 years. This community.
Kittens.
These
On
men...
Calippos?
For 1,000 years, this community was isolated from Britain. They lived on gannets and skewers and puffins. It's the largest puffin colony in Britain, the largest gannet colony in the world. So can you think of the name of the island?
Is it? No, I can't go.
It's St Kilda. St Kilda. And who was St Kilda? I'll give you 10 points if you can tell me.
Patron saint of ducks.
Was St Kilda male or female?
Male.
No.
Female.
No. St Kilda was not a saint. It's merely, unfortunately, a sort of...
Font?
It's an Old Norse word for a shield, skilda, and it just became St Kilda. But it's not a saint at all. So it's known as St Kilda. And it wasn't until 1930 the last 36 natives of St Kilda voluntarily left their ancestral home. But oddly enough, they were given jobs in the British Forestry Commission, and there hadn't been trees on St Kilda for 1,500 years. So none of the St Kildans had ever seen a tree before. They were given jobs in forestry. What the fuck is that?
I imagine... I mean, because they're big. I mean, they really...
Trees are big.
Orcs!
It's an...
So did they want to come to Britain?
Sorry?
When we brought them all over here in the 30s?
Yeah.
Weren't they resistant?
No, it was voluntary. I mean, this was a place that was so windy that literally sheep were blown off the cliffs. It was terribly sad. And there was one windy period where, for a week afterwards, they were all deaf. I mean, it was a pretty hostile climate.
I'm very confused because I feel like until you told me about the wind and the dead sheep, it sounded like a beautiful place to live.
And now,
Because it's sunny, and like in the 30s, nobody wanted to live here. No offense.
It now sounds a bit more like Canada, doesn't it, to be honest? Sorry. No, I'm only kidding.
And it's like, you know, they had all these delicious birds, like the original Nando's. I would like to live there.
Yeah.
I want to find a Kilder and see what they're about.
Yeah, I dare say you could visit it. What we saw was actually the Parliament, the men only, gathering. Wow. That's their Parliament, and they talk until...
Cabinet meeting.
Are they split down the middle by party?
They talk about what the issues of the day...
I'm holding the Calippo. It's my turn to speak.
The worst thing is that dog in the middle is the Prime Minister.
That is the Minister of Forestry. Oh, no trees and dogs. That's just cruel.
In the middle of the 19th century, the first apple arrived in St Kilda, which caused absolute astonishment.
Wait till they see the apple tree. They'll go mental.
Exactly. Wait till they saw the trees.
There's a Disney movie in this. I really love this place. Were they allowed to have sex with their family?
I would imagine it was almost inevitable that they would have done, I'm afraid.
I grew up in a remote area. I had 4 people in my year at school.
Where?
In Devon. On
Really?
Dartmoor. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, in Widdicombe? Near
Nearby.
Widdicombe.
2 boys, 2 girls.
Were you homeschooled?
No. There was like all the kids around me.
So this is quite familiar to you, then.
That's my dad, third from the left.
And the prison bell went... was Dartmoor...
No, I was at school.
But when a prisoner escapes, they ring the bell, don't they?
Yeah, but...
Did that ever happen? No.
Well, it's not that loud a bell.
Oh,
so I don't think it happened when I don't think my parents would have told me.
Wouldn't it be terrible if it sounded the same as the brake bell? So you never know. Is it brake or serial killer?
You come in from playground and there'd be an extra guy in your class that was 40. With arrows on his suit.
And you had the little ponies on the Dartmoor ponies? Right?
Yeah, miniature ponies.
Oh, wonderful. God,
Yeah.
It's a little bit more romantic than growing up in... where did you grow up?
Barking.
And Chigwell, are we talking?
Loughton.
Loughton, I beg your pardon, Essex. And I was in Norfolk, which is, has its own charm. And you were in Ontario somewhere?
I'm from a place called Sarnia.
Sarnia?
Yeah.
So how far is that from Toronto?
You just go through a wardrobe. Look! Mr. Tumnus, don't do that to the dog.
Isn't it like Peterborough, Hamilton, those sort of places?
You know a lot about Canada.
Yes, I do.
I say it's 3 hours worse than Toronto.
Oh. Well, I mean, they say of Toronto it's New York run by the Swiss, don't they? It's kind of charming, but just a little bit too sterile in the streets. Yeah.
I hated Switzerland. Have you been to Switzerland?
No, I don't like Switzerland either very much.
Oh,
I mean, the
paid
Alps are obviously
£7
charming.
for a cup of tea.
No.
Yeah.
Mug. Cock up.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Now, where should you go to find Kiev railway station, other than Kiev?
Well, now.
Oh.
Hull, did you say?
Yes, Stephen. Hull. Let the siren go off and Hull.
Nobody guessed you'd say Hull. No.
Kettering. Let's work our way through.
No.
Okay.
Is there not one? There must
There
be
is a
one.
Kiev station. It's in a very major city in Russia.
Moscow.
Moscow. And it's the station that takes the trains to Kiev. Oh. So they have a St. Petersburg. They have a St. Petersburg station as well. If you want to go to St. Petersburg in Moscow, you go to St. Petersburg station. There's a kind of logic to it. A huge number of towns and cities in England have a London Road, for example, that go to London. They're not in London. London Road isn't in London.
This is why I do not understand London. I go there. Newcastle is not here. It is. It is in Newcastle, which is stupid.
That's why the signage has to be so explanatory, because the Russians won't help. They don't want to give any customer service over there.
They certainly don't.
Have you been? It's not possible. It's
No,
not
no,
possible.
no.
It's not. Read the sign. Don't speak to the people.
It's true. And of
I
course
was
it's
in
in
Red
Cyrillic.
Square in Moscow, and I wanted to have a photo taken, and there was one of those guys with the massive peak caps and the green
Oh, yes.
uniform. And I said, would you take a photo of me in front of it? And he said, no.
They're very good at being rude.
You, half an hour, standing there looking pissed off. And one person's asking for a little thing. Went like that, with him in the background.
Very good. So where is the Kremlin?
Oh, I know this.
Yes?
There's more than one.
Excellent. You're absolutely right, because almost every Russian city has a Kremlin.
Really?
Yeah, it's the fortifying walls originally around the city are a Kremlin. We know a famous one, which is the one in Moscow, but there's one in almost every city you can think of in Russia. Very good, John.
I go to Cardiff looking for Tower of London. You know? Is this country stupid? And also, your women pop groups, they on television, not in prison.
Now, there you go. Here's a question. If you follow a cool grinder, where will it get you?
Oh, it's not, no. It's not that, no.
What?
No.
What
that
can you be
thing,
thinking?
that application.
I can't
That thing.
imagine what you're talking about.
Yes, you know. How turn it on now. How many are in the studio?
Oh.
I bet...
I imagine your outfit will set it off straight away.
I'm just bare-baked.
This is
it's
nothing
not-
to
nothing
do
to do with
with
that.
the gay man-on-man action app. No.
OK.
Cool grinder is spelled Kulgrinda. It's a rather remarkable thing that exists in the Baltic, particularly in Lithuania, but also in
A naturally
Kaliningrad.
occurring phenomenon?
No, it's a man-made phenomenon, which is a very cunning way of deceiving your enemies, running away from them or causing them to drown.
Making a misty fog thing?
No, what you do is you make stepping stones that are under the water.
A cunning...
which are enough for you to stand on, but only you know where they are. The really cunning thing is how you lay them. In the winter, it's incredibly cold, so you get these huge stepping stones, put them in a line across the ice, and as the ice melts, they drop and form a line. And if they're big enough, you can actually drive a coach over them.
I mean, you've got to be pretty sure you're going to be chased soon to go to that trouble.
The Estonians and the Gradients were pretty often at war. There was a lot of war going on.
I think we will be chased in the summer.
They weren't actually invaders.
Which way should we go? Over the river. I'm going to make a cool grinder. Will you help? Only if you're certain about this chase. Tell me more about it. Who's involved?
Basically, you set it up and then you start a game of it in about June.
I tried to walk across River Thames. They don't have cool grinder. It's stupid. I hate this country.
That is very similar, your Lithuanian accent, to your Russian accent, by the way.
They're really...
And you're Ukrainian.
No, the most famous one is the Sietuva swamp, which the Lithuanian explorer Ludwik Krzyzewski navigated by coach in 1903. And he wrote that at the deepest point, the water was up to the sides of his horse. So they're really impressive little things.
I'd say the most famous one is the one Jesus used to trick everyone in the Bible.
That's true. That's very true. But here's a supplementary question. Where can you get arrested for wearing a seatbelt?
Oh, is it somewhere where the road is by water?
Well, we're still in the Baltic region. In Estonia, they have lakes that freeze over, and there are roads on them, so you can drive on them. But you can see that, and you can drive along because it's 22 centimetres thick, the ice, and it won't give way. But you're not allowed to wear a seatbelt in case you slip over or something and you get trapped. So it's actually safer not to wear a seatbelt. The other thing why would this be? You mustn't drive between 25 and 40 kph.
Is it like Back to the Future?
Pair of flame-coloured from your DeLorean.
You can drive faster?
Yes, you can drive faster or slower, but not between 25
Not
and
between
40.
those?
Yeah, those particular...
Same speed as a polar bear?
It's a bit like marching over bridges in step.
Oh, is it to do with the rhythm?
Oh, is the vibration?
It sets up vibrations that might crack the ice. Those particular speeds.
Why wouldn't a faster... Is it just those speeds are just the resonance?
Those speeds, it's the resonance, yeah. It's just something to do with the frequency of that. It's interesting, isn't it? Well, we hope it's interesting. Otherwise, the hell with this programme. But the US Antarctic programme, the other side of the world, near McMurdo Sound, they, every year, construct... What do they construct on the ice? I mean,
Massive ice Jenga.
It's also to do with transport.
Ice plane.
Well, not an ice plane, but a
boat.
An airport.
a runway.
A runway.
A runway,
runway.
so they can land their planes at McMurdo. Yeah, they have to sort of redo it every year.
How do they grip it?
It's ice is, you know, it's not too bad.
Ice isn't too bad for grip.
Dancing on ice!
Not that sort of ice. Dancing on ice is all that sort of...
That's what they said to the pilot.
This is frozen.
Oh, no, actually, it's not so bad as you think. The sticky ice, the other one.
We landed 2 hours ago and we still seem to be going along.
There's an element of that. All right, now, what is there to say about long-necked Karen?
She's got lovely eyes.
You're always the first to see the nice...
One of those family fortunes ones, isn't it? We've had this before.
Oh, yes, survey said...
Name a bird with a long neck. The bloke goes, Naomi Campbell.
This is clearly not Naomi.
No, emu.
Karen is the answer here. Who's this Karen?
Tom Cruise always likes girls, like tall girls with long necks, but then he doesn't let them wear heels around him.
No, because he is not the tallest man in the world.
Well, then why date the girls with the long necks?
So they can spot predators.
Also... say again.
Oh, hello. Tribe? Is it a tribe?
Tribe.
The Karen tribe.
The Karen tribe.
Oh, hello. All right. Love to see you. Hiya. All right.
The neighbouring Tracy tribe. The Tracys.
Stay away from Gary. Here come the Garys. Bothered.
But the tribe we're talking about, the Padung tribe from...
Do they put rings around the...
Exactly, let's have a look at them.
Extending over time.
There we are.
Oh, my word. Wow.
Wow, isn't that impressive?
Looks like she's kind of been bred
impressive if she
with
takes
a
it off.
slinky.
They're so-called giraffe
At the end of the day...
Well, they can't at the end.
Beryl, why are the curtains on the... Oh.
You know when you have a jack in the box ready to go?
Oh, yeah.
Ba-ding!
That's what happens. Rather than go down, it just goes...
Well, the surprising thing is that X-rays show that their necks...
They can't have any more vertebrae, can they?
No, X-rays show their necks are not longer than normal people's.
Oh, what's going
We're all
on?
hunchy.
I mean, that does look quite long, but it's actually what's lower is the collarbone, or are the collarbones.
Wow.
They're supposed to wear them until they get married, but a lot of them keep them on forever. It's a sign of beauty, traditionally, although it's supposed also to protect them against tigers who will attack them by the neck. That's one theory.
That is great. I always thought, OK, maybe they're, like, sacred. All right, it looks pretty. Tigers, I'm totally with it
Yeah,
now.
it's tiger-proof. It's
Put
tiger-proof.
those around your neck.
Exactly.
All right.
Most of them now live in Thailand, having fled Burma, and you can pay to go and see them. There's another nearby tribe who also wear brass coils, not only around their necks, but around their lower knees and arms.
I don't think this is so mad, really. I think I get it with the tigers. And
Yeah.
here you've got Katie Price doing loads of crazy stuff to her body and all her friends. And they look lovely, but they're like orange and they've got fake hair and fake nails. How is this worse?
You're absolutely right. Yeah. Points to Catherine, naturally, for that good observation. Now, just how badly wrong could a housewarming go in one of these? Nice house.
That man is a big fan of the show.
Let's see the rest of him go on. It's past the watershed.
The house doesn't look warm at all to me. It looks cold in there.
It does look cool in there.
All his guests have to arrive by helicopter.
Doreen, I love squirrels. What can I say?
Well, we've looked at the Karen
this
tribe.
real, or is this
This is
James
another
Cameron?
tribe. These are the Korowai tribe. They're a New Guinea tribe who live entirely in tree houses. And they're the only people in the world, apart from the Kombai, another tribe, who also live only in tree houses. Each house lasts, on average, about 5 years, and then they rebuild somewhere else. And their lives, they take their pets up, everything. And that's where they live.
How do they go to the toilet?
Well, the long drop, I guess, is the answer.
You're walking past.
Yes. Don't walk past is the answer. They're roofed with leaves from branches, like a house you'd see anywhere, to stop the rain getting in, and so it's with a little pediment. It's very, very splendid. Once installed, though, they celebrate by lighting a ceremonial fire. The whole thing is made of wood. But it's kept safe by suspending the fireplace in a hole in the floor, and if the fire gets too big, it just drops down to the ground. You'd think it would set fire
Burns
to the
the
struts.
whole forest.
Yeah, well, yeah. But it seems to work. They've been doing it for a very, very long time. One of the marvellous things about them is they had no idea at all that there were any other human beings in the world until 1970. It's pretty astonishing. Anyway, the Korowai have open fires in their houses, even though they're made entirely of wood and 30 metres off the ground. Now, where's the best place to keep a load of old rubbish from the 1980s?
My loft.
Your loft. No, this is a story you're not likely to know, but it is a 16-year voyage of a ship called the Kian trying to offload rubbish from Pennsylvania. In 1986, it was loaded with 15,000 tons of non-toxic ash, bound for dumping in the Bahamas. So they said no. So they went to Puerto Rico, Bermuda, the Dominican Republic, Honduras, Guinea-Bissau and the Netherlands Antilles. They all said no. Then they cunningly reclassified the cargo as topsoil fertiliser and managed to get rid of 4,000 tons of it in Haiti. And then they were rumbled and sent packing. So they then went to Senegal, Cape Verde, Yugoslavia, to Sri Lanka, Indonesia and the Philippines, and then Singapore, where she was found to be empty. And then the captain and the ship's executives admitted they'd dumped the ash at sea and were jailed. And at the assistance of Haiti, the ship had to go back to pick up the 4,000 tons they'd left behind. So eventually, Pennsylvania, where it originated from, took it back, and in 2002, 16 years later, it was offloaded and taken by train to a landfill just 120 miles where it had originally come from.
How impressive is that?
I quite like the idea of that boat sailing around and the captain with a teaspoon just going...
Like in a prison yard, bring it out the bottom of his trousers.
The amazing thing is it wasn't toxic, it's just people didn't want American rubbish. Don't say anything.
How does ash go away?
You landfill. Basically.
it?
Yeah. Eco-friendly Sweden uses so much waste to power its generators that it actually has to import rubbish. And Norway pays Sweden to take 80,000 tons a year, which Sweden then turns into power, and then they send the ash back to Norway for landfilling.
So why don't we all do that?
Why exactly? Good old Sweden. Let's hear it for the Swedes. Yay! Very good. We like the Swedes. One of the Maldives, unfortunately, Phill, is an artificial island made entirely out of rubbish, which is really distressing. The country's residents and tourists produce so much garbage, the island is growing by 1 square metre a day. That is really, really upsetting, isn't it?
I haven't been recycling for the last month because, well... I saw your face then.
Yeah?
Because someone stole my recycling bin from outside the front of my house. Which I don't know what the morals are on that crime.
Are they good for sledding? I bet they're great for sledding.
Was it you?
I just got the lid.
Were you luging on Josh's lip? How wrong of you.
What did you just say?
Luging.
Yeah, but it's just that combination of words.
I know. Well, that's what we like.
Yeah.
Yes. It's fun.
Delicious.
There's a shop at the end of my road that takes clothing and they send it to Africa and they give you money for it. Yeah. And I was thinking, great, I've got lots of designer baby items. And so I brought all this stuff down, like cute little things. I'm showing them to the guy. He doesn't care what it is. He just cares about how much of it there is.
Oh, in weight or volume?
And they weigh it. So if you've got, like, big old trousers, you get more money than if you've got, like, beautiful little baby stuff.
And where's this shop?
It's right.
I took some to my local charity shop, some clothes, and I've become increasingly irate that I haven't made the window display yet.
It's like, yes, never give a gift you've been given to a charity shop, because that will go in the window, and your friend who gave it to you will pass it. Believe me, I don't.
Buy it and give it to you again.
Yes, exactly. Oh, dear. And so the whirligig of time brings in its revenges. Now, name the nearest third world country.
Oh, steady. You can get into all sorts of trouble.
Yes,
Oh, I know.
I'm not going to make any jokes about our near neighbours on this fine island.
Let's just say it's as well that you didn't say Wales or Scotland.
I'm too scared to answer.
Let me give you the original definition of a third world nation, then you'll be less embarrassed, all right? French historian Alfred Sauvy.
France!
We jumped the gun, coined the phrase...
Oh, Stephen!
The third world. Le Monde Troisième. In 1952, it meant states not politically aligned with the USSR or the USA, i.e. the Soviet bloc, or with America. So any state that wasn't in some way politically aligned was called Third World. Now, which is the nearest one of those to us? France was, although it wasn't a member of NATO, it was politically aligned.
Ireland wasn't, was it?
Ireland is the right answer.
The one I was most afraid of saying.
Oh, you know! It's only more recently that it became a term meaning poverty. And nowadays, of course, it's not a politically correct word to use anyway. We don't say a third world country, we say...
Developing.
The developing world,
We
exactly.
say a vibrant tourist destination.
Bravo. That's exactly what we say.
Unspoiled, we say. Unspoiled.
Unspoiled, exactly. There is fourth world, however. Now, what does fourth world refer to?
Essex.
You're lucky you can get away with that because you come from there. But The Centre for World Indigenous Studies says it means essentially dispossessed people, such as Kurds or Romanis and such like. They are fourth world. If you're Irish in Britain, there's something you can do that you can't do if you're British in Ireland.
Piss
Open
in the
a theme
street.
pub.
Piss in the street. Open a theme pub.
Yeah, singing pubs.
No, it's really an important right.
Could you be in Parliament?
Vote.
Oh.
Amazingly, Irish citizens living in Britain can vote in British general elections. British citizens living in Ireland cannot vote in the Republic of Ireland general elections. Now, which country's national anthem is the Land of the Free?
America?
America is not the right answer, I'm
They
afraid.
sing it. Beyonce sang it.
It's in the lyrics, the home of the brave and the land of the free. But
Is it somewhere incredibly not free?
no, it's free.
Free-ish?
It's the only flag of an independent sovereign nation that has human beings on it. 2 of them, as a matter of fact.
Are they copulating?
They're not copulating. Any help to you? They're chopping wood.
Are they dancing?
It's one of those
Gangnam
freaky
Style?
islands, isn't it? Oh, it's a...
One of those freaky ideas.
One of the land is, by the might of truth and the grace of God, no longer shall we be hewers of wood.
Mordor.
Give us more clues. We can get this. Come on.
It was once a British possession. And
Belize.
yes! Come on! Very good! Very good! Belize. Formerly known as British Honduras, and its national anthem is called the Land of the Free. The name of the American national anthem is... The Star-Spangled Banner, oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light, etc., etc. Who wrote the words for that, do you know?
Jay-Z.
It was a man called Francis Scott Key. And what's interesting about him...
Joe Biden is absolutely hating that.
He's not looking happy, neither is the other guy.
I wanted to sing it. Yeah. I have a beautiful piercing alto. Yeah.
Anyway, Francis Scott Key gave his first 3 names to a distant cousin who was Francis Scott Key surname, one of the greatest writers of the 20th century.
Fitzgerald.
Yes, F. Scott Fitzgerald's real name was Francis Scott Key Fitzgerald because he was a cousin of the man who gave us the words of the Star-Spangled Banner. And finally, a really easy one. Does the Paris-Dakar rally start in Paris and end in Dakar, or start in Dakar and end in Paris?
Starts in France and ends in Africa.
Sorry. Anybody else?
Is it neither?
Yes.
Well, I know it ends in Africa.
It doesn't.
I presumed it started
It doesn't
in France.
end in Africa.
Where's it end then?
In South America.
What?
What the heck now? The Paris-Dakar Rally has been held in South America for the last 5 years since threats in 2007 from Al-Qaeda. And so the organisers relocated it in South America, absolutely. The Mongol Rally starts in England and ends in Ulaanbaatar, which is the capital of Outer Mongolia, as I'm sure you know.
I'd just take a mobile phone rather than doing that.
There you see that
The problem is you can't get the signal.
it starts in London and ends in Ulaanbaatar. And what route does it take?
A2.
The fact is...
He's not wrong.
The fact is, any way you want to go, because
A20.
there is no set route. You can just choose to go through whichever
Dover,
countries will
Folkestone.
allow you to get through them. They don't want to cramp the style of the rallyists. In India, there's a very good rally called the Blind Man's Car Rally. A 40-mile race in which blind navigators use a braille map. The drivers are sighted, but they must adhere to the directions given by their unsighted navigators who are using braille.
Even if they know it's going to be a collision. Left, left, left.
Anyway, now we have a knick-knack exploding custard powder experiment. For something to explode, you need certain things. You need something to light, in this case, custard powder. You need something to light it with, and you need oxygen. But you need a little bit more than that, because if I try and light this custard powder, you will see... that nothing happens.
The trick custard powder.
It doesn't. The whole point is nothing happens.
Nothing would happen with that. It's
Because
custard,
I bet
of course.
Heston could make it burn.
He couldn't in this state.
No?
What you need in order to get something like custard or any powder, even metallic powder, to burn and really burn, is one of these ordinary, everyday objects like this. As you may see, I have a funnel, and I have some safety glasses to save my beautiful eyelashes, and I have a lighter. And
I miss Jacques Cousteau.
And I have a pump. I have a pump. I have a pump that rather wants to fall over. So we'll just raise this here so it doesn't fall over. OK, now, what I'm going to do...
I don't want to know what you're going to do.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to pour the custard powder in this funnel, and I'm going to present a flame across it. Oh. Yes. Yes. Be afraid, be very
Could I use
afraid.
Alan as a human
No,
shield?
you're the shield.
Oh, my God. There's flame. There's custard powder in there.
I feel the need. The need for speed.
All I need to do...
Where are you going? Where the fuck am I?
I'm going to the pump. I'm just going to the pump, because I'm going to pump...
We are now nearer than you!
Can you see what I'm going to do? I'm pumping air.
There's just too many double entendres. You pumping custard.
Stop it. Are you ready for me to pump the custard?
Oh, my God.
Oh, God.
Yes, I'm ready for you to pump your custard.
I need a countdown from the audience.
This is not how I wanted to go.
Audience, I want you to count me down from 3... Wasn't that dangerous?
It's quite warm there, actually.
There's,
I can feel the heat. Yeah, I can feel the heat. If I'd been sitting there, I could have been ignited.
you could have been covered in hot custard.
I told you before you did this experiment.
Which hot and exciting experiment brings me to the little matter of the scores, and they are fascinating. In last place, although he's played it so many times, with -9, is Phill Jupitus. A highly creditable third place with -8, Katherine Ryan. First appearance, second place with -7, it's Josh Widdicombe. Ladies and gentlemen, can you believe your ears? 14 points in the lead with +7 is Alan Davis. Enormous thanks to Katherine, Phill, Josh and Alan. Good night.
If you want more giggling, catch the latest episode of Bad Education over on BBC 3 now. And BBC 2 will be doing something pretty similar tomorrow night with a brand new series of Nevermind the Buzzcocks at 10 o'clock. Next tonight, Film Time. Colin Firth's BAFTA-winning performance in A Single Man.